Hey everyone, my name is Matt and welcome to the channel, and this video is very special. This is going to be the start of a series that I plan on doing every single year in celebration of Halloween, and it's called A Common Idiot Presents Monster Mania. This is basically going to be a monthly countdown to Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite times of the year, and I love to celebrate it watching slasher movies, monster movies, horror movies, anything Halloween related. I want to watch and consume it because I really do love the holiday of Halloween. So to kick things off, this video is going to be my top 5 slasher movies at all time. So let's hop into number 5. Coming in at number 5 is Child's Play. Child's Play is an absolutely horrifying movie, especially if you're somebody that doesn't care for any type of dolls. The fact that a innocent-looking little doll could be housing the soul of a serial killer and comes to life and can kill you is pretty terrifying. The movie itself does a fantastic job with practical effects to really make Chucky come to life. Some of these scenes are absolutely just horrific in the sense that you see this innocent little doll and then all of a sudden the face just changes from this sweet little smile to this distorted look, and it's screaming profanities and biting you and stabbing you, and it's horrifying. Not only the practical effects really make this stand out, but the actor who voiced Chucky, Brad Dourif, really makes this stand out. Without him, Chucky isn't as scary, at least to me. The way that he voices this character, the way it's sincere, he really is the person that brings this character to life. Not only that, but the backstory and the way that the actor portrayed the serial killer Charles Lee Ray was terrifying in itself. So Chucky is iconic enough that where it had to make my top 5. Coming in at number 4 is Friday the 13th, Part 3. Now, listen here, before you get upset with me, there are some other better Friday the 13th movies out there for sure, but the reason Part 3 is on this list, the reason why Part 3 is number 4 is because this is the film where Jason dons the iconic mask for the first time. That is one thing that I've always loved about Jason Voorhees, is that iconic hockey mask. It terrified us as kids, me and my brother, and it just stands out on its own accord. There's nothing that beats it. When you see that mask, you know exactly who Jason is. You know exactly what film you're talking about just by looking at that. So the fact that this was the very first movie that started it all, and it had to beat out all the other Friday the 13th movies. Not only that, but the movie was in 3D. And how awesome is it to see Jason doing his thing, killing camp counselors in 3D? You can't really beat that. Coming in at number 3 is Wes Craven's Scream. Scream is very special to me because this is the first slasher franchise that I was able to see basically born on the big screen. Everything else before this was already around by the time I was old enough to watch these movies. So everyone already knew about them, but this I saw the lightning get struck. I saw the lightning in the bottle when this movie came out, and the phenomenon was insane. Not only does this pay tribute to all the movies that came before that kind of led the way to make slashers great, but it also did something very unique in the fact that it used phones and the iconic "Hello, Sydney" with the voice changer. This movie really just nailed it for me. I loved everything about it. I'm really big into masks and helmets, and the iconic ghost killer mask, like, you just can't beat it. All the nods that Wes Craven threw to another franchise that he helped create, it was just awesome, and you just never get sick of this movie. And this movie started a massive franchise that is still going strong today. Coming in at number 2 is another Wes Craven favorite called Nightmare on Elm Street, specifically Part 1. Now, I don't think Part 1 is the best movie in the franchise, but the reason why it's on this list is because this is the movie that started it all. I remember as a kid, whenever you have a bad dream, whenever you have anything like that and you wake up at night and you kind of go to your parents, what do they always tell you? Hey, it was just a dream, go back to bed. This movie, when I saw it for the first time, changed the game of that, right? Because he told you, hey, you're not safe in your dreams. And there are some wild things that happen in this movie that they really get creative with when it comes to the dreams and how they die. One of the most iconic deaths in this movie, spoiler alert, is Johnny Depp, which was one of his first movie roles, was when he gets sucked into the bed and spewed onto the ceiling. Like, it was just terrifying. And Freddy Krueger is just an iconic character in his own right. He's funny. He's scary. He's hilarious. Like, there's just so many things about Freddy Krueger that make Freddy Krueger terrifying. The other iconic scene where she's in the tub and you see the glove come up out of the water is just wild. Like, it's just crazy. And there's really nothing else like this movie. It definitely stands on its own, and it started a absolute phenomenon. So it had to come in at the number 2 spot. Now, before I get to the very top spot of the list, I do have an honorable mention. It didn't quite make my top 5, but that's for personal preference. But it definitely belongs on the list with the greats of all the slasher films. And this franchise, specifically the very first one, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, this movie isn't one of my favorite movies of all time, but dear God, this movie, still to this day, creeps me the hell out. This was done so insane. These other movies that I've mentioned, I can look back now and you can have a good laugh with it. They're kind of goofy now, some of them as you get older and watch them, at least for me. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just a movie on its own island. It is absolutely creepy and terrifying, like chills you to the bone. And there's good reason for that. Maybe that's why it should have been at the top spot. Maybe that's why it should have been on the list at all. But for me, it just never really was one of my favorite movies. But Leatherface is terrifying. The entire movie is creepy as hell, and I had to mention it and give it the respect that it deserves because it's such an iconic film, and it's just very disturbing slasher movie in its own right. Coming in at the top spot is John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween. This movie is by far probably one of the best slasher movies of all time. John Carpenter is a horror mastermind. The way he scores this film alone is terrifying and really sends chills down your bone, but the way it's filmed, the story itself, Michael Myers, everything combined together really makes this one of the best slasher movies of all time. Michael Myers in this movie, like I said, just this movie on its own, no sequels, no nothing, talking about just this film, is horrifying in the sense that you have a madman that breaks out of a mental hospital and starts killing people for literally no reason. And I think that's what makes this movie so scary or so chilling to me. All these other franchises, there's some type of motivation as to why they're doing what they're doing. Michael Myers does not have that. He literally is just killing to kill, and I think that's what makes it so scary. He doesn't talk, he doesn't say anything, he moves slow. The one scene where he kills that guy and pins him to the wall, and then he just kind of looks at him, is so crazy to me. Like, that is just so awesome, but also scary in the same sense because, like you said, there's no motivation. There is no reason why he's doing it. He's doing it because he's out of his mind, because he's crazy. And Jamie Lee Curtis is iconic in this movie as well, does a fantastic job. And this is just the perfect slasher Halloween movie, and that's why this one steals the top spot. And that wraps up my top 5 slasher list of all time. But I want to know what you think. Do you agree with me? Are you on point? Do you have a difference of opinion? I want to know. Do you think I'm crazy? Let me know in the comments below because I always love to hear your thoughts. I want to hear if you agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. You let me know because I love it and I will respond to all his comments, as many as I can. So if you like this video, hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. There's a lot more videos coming out, so stay tuned for those. A lot of movie reviews, a lot more top 5s coming out. So I hope you enjoy. And until next time, my friends, take care.